I'll get it from when we're done. So here on the picture on the left, we want to see a little bit more of a straight line.
So that ball has to be farther forward, right?
You wouldn't have to press your handle so far. Because what we want to see is a little bit more of a tilt of your spine so your right shoulder gets outside of your hip rather than what we're seeing there. So over here we're going to see that we don't see the handle press forward the way that we see it with you. We'll see just a little bit of a, maybe a tiny press, but that's more of a straight line down to it. This camera angle is just a touch off. It's not quite face on. You're looking at it a little bit from the left. But you can see how the right shoulder is outside of the right hip more. Where yours is even with it. And this comes from, I don't want to hit behind it, Scott. Let's get that to there. It just gives me the look, Pat, that all your weight's on your left side. You get that? You get that feeling on the start? Everything looks like you're trying to not hit behind it. So up here at the top, we don't really see a whole lot of weight transfer. You still look pretty even.
It should transfer back to my right leg.
Yeah, and it would do that if we just set a little bit more even and balanced and tilt. We'll do this after the fact when we start to put them side by side. Because up here at the top, I think we could turn a lot more. We haven't seen a whole lot of hip rotation, and we haven't seen a whole lot of turning of your upper body the way that we see it over here. We're going to see a girl. So we're going to see that we can really see how the weight goes back to the right leg. The belt buckle moves about 45 degrees. Yours, not very much. And then we start to see how that backswing turns. Because I like everything that's going on. The left shoulder stopping with the club head up at the top. But we need to make this turn a little deeper. So if we just look at your left shoulder.
Yeah, she's more flexible than I am. So I can't keep up with her.
We can get closer to it. I'm not saying that we're going to rewind the clock, that many years but when you were hitting it further and getting to more par fours, you had more turn than that. But the way that you want to do it is as we get older, we got to have at least 45 degrees of hip turn. And I think this is where you started to steer around when you started to have pain. Well, if I don't move very much, it doesn't hurt very much. I'm strong, I can hit it with my arms. Yeah, I don't know if it's lazy. I think it's more of a product of being injured. The club approaching quite a bit from the in to out path, which is making our ball start a touch to the right. We can see the ball right here heading over to the right of that red line, which is, you can tell that you're a good golfer because an average golfer with no, we're seeing that on the left, you're getting a whole lot more turn.
I don't think I need to go parallel back. I think I do better when I go back that far.
I think so. That has no correlation to how far you're going to hit it, how far back it goes.
Really?
No. But see, now here I can see this lady has shifted weight on the left side, here where your weight is balanced. Now the thing that we have to change is how we're going to get that back there, because we can't have your left shoulder that high. That's what feels so funny, like, boy, I can't turn that much. So if we just track what goes on, again here we have that little bit more tilt, is what we're going to see is the left shoulder go down a little before it goes back. So we see how that shoulder swings down. That's it. Well, let me get you doing that on there. Yeah, there we go. And that's the type of turn that we're looking for. Just like you got it right there. Let's do that again. There we go. And that's going to make your club not go so far around and your ball stop starting to the right. Let's do it with a club now, Pat. Put that club right in front of you.
Shoulder down low and just turn.
So when that left shoulder goes down, so now we're seeing, look at how much more turn there is with the lower. Look how much more turn there is with the upper. And here we can honestly say that Pat's weight is now over here on her right side. With that much more turn, you're going to be able to hit it that much further. Now, with this, as we start to work it into the downswing, is now we have to start to make all of our momentum go forward, because we're not used to being that far behind it. That's real good. So there's the left shoulder down slightly, then back. Now we see Pat's loaded up. Just like, Serena Williams, when she hits a forehand, that weight's on the right side. And now as we come through, we still need to go forward just a touch more, because you probably felt right away that those balls didn't go to the right when we did that. Watch these two, Pat. The newer one on the left-hand side. Definitely bigger turn. Not sure that was quite up there. More weight is moved. You can see the left knee points further behind the ball. Left shoulder much deeper. Then that one. So we moved that left shoulder back a good 3-4 inches. As we come into it, the nice thing is we're not seeing you doing a whole lot different at impact. So your straightness isn't going to go away. But the feeling that I want you to have when you're out playing golf is, you hear good golfers talk about parameters. So for a 7-iron, we want our ball to be somewhere in those parameters so it stays within the green. When we start to hit fairway woods, those parameters start to get bigger, because we have a larger margin of error because length of the club, and then the driver starts to get biggest. That golf is not a game of perfect, the way that putting is, where the finality's in there and all that stuff. So when we hit a 7-iron, we want to make the same move. We want to make more hip turn, more shoulder turn, get the big muscles involved. But it doesn't move as fast because the shaft is shorter, the club has more loft, which makes it easier to hit it inside the red, so to speak. When we have a longer club, we have less loft, longer shaft, more margin of error is required, but golf course designers do that, where you have more room to hit your fairway wood than you do your 7-iron. And the driver, you have the most room. So when we're doing this, we want to start to feel those big muscles. We want to start to feel yourself wind up. And if we can get rid of the thought that everything has to be perfect, and then if we can make that big turn like that, because if we can do it this much in 20 minutes, we can do in 2 months, we can make things really move to the right, really get some power into it. All right, so let's make our goal in 2011 that we're going to make our backswing more dynamic or more athletic.
Okay.
Let's let that left shoulder work down, then back. And I think this is just the start of it rather than where you want to end up, right where you are on here.
You think I can do more turns, get more flexible?
Well, as you do it, it's right now you're a bit tentative to move because you're a little leery of the contact. And that's why I say it will get better. And then let's see if we can continue to increase this lag right here to where we can get it even closer to...
I can't do that consciously. I don't
No, you won't. Just as your body works better.
I just do it.
Now, if you can get closer to this position, we're going to get closer to this amount of lag.
Okay.
And the more and more that you do this, it's self-feeding.
I got it.
And then you're like Lori with the golf balls. You just can't wait to hit another one the way that she can't wait to work out
I hope she
again.
doesn't get anorexia and kill herself.